So, we were discussing about the elections. Peak time, right? And we were like, when did it all start? Welcome to Election for Dummies by Info Perk. We actually planned to make this video just explaining how election works. That's when we went into the rabbit hole of research and reached 508 BC, 2531 years ago. What we found out was that the practice of democracy actually started in 508 BC ancient Greece. And the election system was the exact opposite. They actually voted for people who they didn't want to continue, and they would have been exiled for 10 years. These election systems were obviously based on the ballot system, but the fun fact here is that they use broken pots instead of paper to cast their votes. Talking about these broken pots, the system back then was also quite broken compared to the present, with everyone not having the rights to vote, the power being in the wealthy few and with the aristocrats, and even the politicians not ready to lose power. This can be seen in the situation only if the politician receives more than 6,000 votes are they to be exiled, and if there were a fair even spread of votes among all the politicians, nobody would have been exiled back then. And for the same reason, only the most infamous politicians have been exiled or been ostracized. Okay, let's get into proper voting now. Even though approval voting can be seen in the ancient Greece, it was during the 13th century the Venetians implemented approval voting to elect a great council which comprised around 40 members.
Can we come to India now?
Yeah, alright, let's come to India now. We can actually see Republican federations in India around the 4th century BC, according to some Buddhist literature. Now, some Greek literature tells us that there were some aristocratic republics and even some pure democracies. As we all know, most of the time during the modern period, we were a colony of the British, and after a lot of suffrage, first elective element can be seen with the introduction of the Indian Councils Act 1909. This council, which was formed under the Councils Act, had 68 members, of which 27 members were to be elected. And this election was not conducted by the common people of India, but by special constituencies which included multiple municipalities and corporations and other institutions. 1909 Act was actually superseded by multiple different acts which included the 1915 Government of India Act, the 1919 Government of India Act, and finally the 1935 Government of India Act.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
And at last, we reached the great day, August 15, 1947. Now the 1935 Act is still present till we officially adopted the Constitution of India on 26th of November 1949, which obviously superseded the 1935 Government of India. This implementation of the Constitution brought one of the vital aspects of democracy, universal adult franchise, the right to vote for any adult citizen of India. This led to the first general election after getting independence, which yielded us our first cabinet and our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Initially, paper ballots were used to cast votes, but due to several issues spanning from high expense to fraudulent activities, an alternative method was proposed to use. Electronic voting machines came into play. A first trial was conducted in Kerala during the 80s, and during the late 90s, they started introducing EVMs into elections in a phased manner. And now, we are at our 18th general election, the world's biggest democratic election, with 988 million eligible voters. Now, assuming you are one among these 988 million voters, some key duties you should follow as a citizen and especially as a voter according to the Association of Democratic Rights are as follows. Be an informed voter and know the background details of the candidates in your constituency. You can use the My Netha app to know more details about the candidates. If any candidate tries to threaten or buy a vote, expose him or her to the Election Commission of India. Be aware of the Nota option in the EVM, which you can use if none of the above candidates are suitable for the post. Another interesting fact that not much people are aware about is that when you reach a polling booth and if already a person has cast their votes in your name, you can actually use a tender vote and cast your votes in a tender ballot paper, which is considered valid according to 49p of Conduct of Election Rules. Yeah, that's pretty much it. More videos on EVMs, anti-defection law, and more are on its way. Make sure you follow so that you don't miss it. Also, mention your valuable feedback down below. Have a great and responsible voting season. Bye.